we're going to start off with our first full season friendly against Paris FC.
Yeah. We have become very sort of elusive, hasn't we? It's like, ooh.
The fact that we suddenly played a behind closed doors friendly against Man City.
Yeah,
What's that about?
That was rogue.
What's that about?
Like, it's just the two sort of biggest rivals, or two of the biggest rivals in the title, like giving each other secrets. Is that what that is?
I don't know. I'd be being like, just be aware that they might be out to hurt you.
Yeah,
because that's the type of petty person I am. I'm like, this gives me a great opportunity pre-season to go studs up on Body Shaw and put her out for the season.
When sort of the academy player that ultimately is probably not going to play comes onto the pitch with like half an hour to go.
Keen to show themselves, but with not the finesse needed.
Or just a little word in the ear from, I'm going to say an unnamed member of the Arsenal backroom staff because I don't want to get anyone in trouble. Just going, see that Bunny Shaw?
Yeah. You're Lauren Hemp.
Yeah, I think maybe a couple of studs on his ankle. I think that would look good.
Yeah, her calves looking a bit inviting, isn't it?
I think, let's see how good at tackling you are. You might get a game this year if you do it properly.
But let's start with 1-0 victory over Paris FC.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal. Tough watch for those of you watching at home.
It was.
Did feel the word of the moment across all football, men and women, is intensity.
Yes.
This is the buzzword of the moment. Perhaps not the intensity we might expect this close to the season starting, but we got it done. And I think we learned a lot more about who is going to play, how they're going to play. We saw some really nice combinations, but it was Olivia Smith in the 92nd minute. We had some injuries as well. So no Ona Badier, she was missing. Emily Fox started left back. Smilla Holmberg started at right back, who also seemed like she got injured as well.
Yeah.
She also started quite well, which I thought was a shame.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this was definitely a friendly for the players rather than the fans. I reckon the 2,000 odd fans who went probably had a nice time because getting to see the players in person at Meadow Park, which I like, is always a good thing. On the stream, it was a tough watch, as you said, partly because it's women's football, so the stream was inevitably poorly operated, poorly managed, didn't look very good, etc. All the stuff we're used to by now. But also because Paris ultimately turned up to defend and defended well. They were organised. They put in probably the performance they wanted to put in. But I also think that's partly why we chose this friendly. And I think that's why I'm saying it's one for the players rather than for the fans, because this was a sort of game we were really bad at last season. Sort of at home against a team that, I mean, Paris are a good team, but a team we should beat, and a team that are going to defend and make it difficult for us. And we drew a lot of these games when we failed to break teams down. I mean, I think of that Villa game. I mean, ultimately we did concede at the end of that one, but that's one that always sticks in mind. So I think what Renée Slegers wanted to do was test us against this sort of team, this sort of thing we need to be better at. And I would say we just sneaked a pass.
Yeah,
at the
what
very,
are we giving
very
there? So
end.
maybe like an A- or a B+.
I don't think we're reaching A's yet.
No,
I think
probably a B+ there. But she went quite strong with the lineup. Liked the midfield, so Stanway, Little, and Caldente as well. We had a goal ruled offside, which was a real shame.
It was a proper emphatic finish as well.
Really good finish and a nice little bit of interplay between Russo and Georgia Stanway.
Yes, yeah.
Who Georgia Stanway is one of those people who I think I'm going to have to double name each time.
Yeah.
Are we saying Stanway? For me, it's Georgia Stanway.
I think it is Georgia Stanway.
Okay, Georgia Stanway and Russo.
It's like Ben White.
Well, yeah. Who's white? Who is that? And then we had Olivia Smith, Churchy, and Lisa Baum leading the attack. Lots of praise for Lisa Baum.
She looks amazing.
She's really good.
She looks really physically impressive. Like, she looks tall, she looks quick, she looks strong, and she catches your eye straight away. But also look really lively down that right hand side. I think out of all our new signings, she was definitely the one that I was least excited for. Sounds harsh. I had the most sort of reservations about, only because she was still so young, right? 19 years old, and we have been maybe not burnt in the past, but we've got experience of signing young players and they don't always work out. I'm thinking of Rosa Kafaji, Catherine Cool, that sort of player. And it's easy to get excited, but actually, there's a lot of developing to do at that sort of age. And also, her numbers last season were okay, but not as good as when she was playing in the lower leagues in Germany. So you kind of think a young player, they've got to step up. All right, they've got all the tools, but can they contribute in goals, assists, all the stuff that really matters? And we still need to wait and see whether that's the case, but that's definitely the sort of thing you have in the back of the mind with these young players. But from first look, she looks ready to be a superstar.
And she also scored the winner in our friendly victory, quote unquote friendly victory against Man City.
Which I think was her second goal of pre-season. Yeah. So that's good signs,
Definitely going in the right direction. I think quite late on in the game against Paris, she took a shot from outside of the area as well.
Yeah.
A kind of cutting on your left foot.
Yes.
Curled it past. I think it missed or it was saved, but I really like the intention.
Yes.
And I like you can see her kind of growing in confidence throughout the game. She basically, I think she puts it top left corner as you're kind of looking at the goal, and it's saved. But to kind of have that building and have that in your locker to take shots from outside the area, I think is really exciting.
Yeah, and I think as well as a left-footed winger, she doesn't seem like she always wants to come in on that left foot. Like, she was happy to go both ways. She was actually hugging the touchline at times. So, like, to see that she does have that in the locker as well as going on the outside and keeping the width is like good. It's really promising to see. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how she goes in the season. But first look, looks really exciting.
Good. We also had a really good view of how the squad looks in its entirety in terms of the depth of it. So Renée obviously brought on Catley, Hines, Cooney-Cross. Good to see her back, of course. Reutler, Ford, Russo, and Blackstenius as well. That's a really nice kind of problem to have, that many good players off the bench.
Yeah, loads of good players on the bench. And I think maybe what's key compared to last season is loads of players that I think Renée Slegers now trusts. Because at times last season, it felt like there was some players that she didn't trust. Whether that was true or not, we'll never know, but she'll never admit that.
But you can see that when the type of game states players come in on, you're like, no player is put on just for the sake of it, right? But there are certain really, really intense periods where certain players are not getting a look in. Yeah,
and I think as well, like, there was times at games last year, particularly these sorts of games we were talking about earlier, where, we need a goal, we're trying to break down team, and you actually look at the bench and you think, all right, there's okay players in there, but are any of them actually better than the players we've got on the pitch? Where now it's a world where, you said you've got, I mean, in this situation, you had Russo. Obviously, Russo went normally on the bench, but you've got Russo, Ford, Blackstenius on the bench. If Russo's starting, or Ford starting, or Chloe Kelly, when she comes back, she's starting, where you've got either Baum or Searchy or Smith on the bench, who also, like, are players who in those moments you think you could turn to. So there's definitely more of a depth, particularly in attack. Obviously, the defence is the concern now in terms of the depth. We're not going to talk any more about needing a centre-back. Like, everyone knows it. We've talked about it. I've seen loads of fan forums talk about it. The one thing I would say on it, actually, is that Slegers did say in a post-match press conference, I think she said this to Arsblog, was that she's very happy with the squad right now. And she said it's almost complete. And
how much are we reading into that?
Yeah, I got the almost complete as in, like,
is that it's almost complete, or is it's almost complete?
I think it's more the first. I think it was more like, if we don't sign anyone else, we're content.
We're fine with it.
Which concerned me a little bit, because I said we talked about centre back. We don't need to go into that as well. But also, I mentioned this a bit last week, and some people disagree with me, but I'm going to double down.
It's sound of business, Rory.
I think we do look light in the fullback areas, and what I mean by that is, I think we've got 4 really good fullbacks. Badier, Fox, Holmberg, Hines, like, any of them can start, and I'm really happy with that. But as soon as one of them gets injured, then that's asking a lot on the other. And we had a situation where Badier missed this game. Okay, the initial reports is it's not too bad. He should be back for the season. Holmberg was seen with strapping on at the end of the game.
Also very young. I don't think we can throw her into that position and be like, play the whole season there.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I think that if we have an injury, suddenly we're going to look a little bit light again. So it's not so much that we don't have good players there, it's that I don't know if the squad's ready to handle the inevitable things that happen through the season when players...
There is not enough insurance policy on that one. I think it's one of those ones where when you buy a fullback, it feels like we start talking about who's not going to play. Let's start worrying about minutes, etc. But it's a very fine line between, as you said, having 2 players in each position there. One of them gets injured, you're starting to worry a little bit.
Exactly. And it might even be that, look, in the centre half we'd like to sign, it's someone that then also could fill in there if we get short. It's not necessarily that we need to buy another out-and-out fullback. I guess it's just, if you strengthen the options across the defence more generally, you then can fill in. It might be even if you have another centre half, it means that if a left back gets into Steph Catley can go back and play there again, which we obviously know that she can do. It's that sort of thing. It's just the squad a whole just probably needs another body. I reckon maybe even 2 more bodies in the defence. Just that means that across the defence we can wear it if players come unavailable for whatever reason.
The 26-27 football season is finally here.
This is On the Continent, the definitive guide to European football.
From Spain to Sweden, Norway to the Netherlands, if it's happening on the continent, we're talking about it.
Every Thursday, we're joined by European football experts, including Lars Sivertsen, Nicky Bandini, and David Cartledge, as we take a trip around Europe that even Odysseus would be proud of, bringing you every big story from across the continent. And every Friday, we'll get you involved. So send us your questions and we'll answer them.
Because European football can get complicated.
Never go back to your ex. And this is what they're doing.
Are we talking about Mourinho or are we talking about Florentino Perez? We've got all the latest on transfers, wonder kids, managers, plus the stories you won't hear anywhere else.
And when the football gets going,
Cesc Fabregas has done an extraordinary job. They have gone to the San Siro, they've gone to Maradona, they've dominated possession.
We'll be there for all of it.
so join me, Dotun Adebayo,
And me, Andy Brassel, as we bring you all you need to know from the heart of European football.
Just search for On the Continent in your podcast app and listen now.
That wasn't our only friendly victory. We've already mentioned that we beat Man City 2-1 behind closed doors. That was last Wednesday. On the Discord as well, Jesse kind of put it, great start, but bloody weird. As we've just said, really weird to play Man City in a friendly before the season starts, considering they are our big rivals now for the WSL.
Is it like keep your enemies close sort of vibe?
Yeah, I like that.
Or is it just like we know a few of them. We know Beth, we know Viv.
yeah.
We've got them on speed dial. We'll just call them up.
Yeah,
like,
was it arranged at the last minute?
Yeah.
You guys fancy? Yeah, should we get together?
Someone's dropped out.
Yeah,
and Steph Catley's gone, I'll give Beth Mead a call. Let's see what they're up to.
We'll just we'll get together. We'll have a pre-season. We scored a late winner. Lisa Baum scored that one after being set up by Churchy.
Yeah.
The opener though was scored by Blackstenius from a Chloe Kelly corner, and we've got a new set piece coach.
Come on.
Set piece again.
Set piece FC strikes again.
Olé. Our set piece coach, it's called Nikita Runnacles. Please do correct me on the Discord if I'm saying that wrong. Adding some set pieces into our game, I think, would be really, really smart. It's really efficient. I know everyone, wow, it's really boring, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm a big set piece fan, and Chloe Kelly on the delivery is really excellent. I think that'd be such a good use of a strength that she has that I think we've underappreciated and underutilized since she arrived.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's definitely something we didn't score from enough set pieces last season. I'm sure we did score from one, but I can't think of any. So maybe we didn't.
We also conceded quite a few. So flip that on its head. Practice against each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here you go.
I'm glad you raised that, because I actually think that is almost as important a part of it, to be honest, is fixing that issue, which is maybe even more of a glaring issue than not scoring enough, although we would definitely like to score more. It would definitely make us a better team. I also saw that the new set piece coach is also working with the goalkeeping coach.
Okay.
So it's possible that is part of that as well, to try and make the defensive side of our set piece game better. But yeah, I think that's cool. And also, like, it fits in with some of the changes we've gone for this year. Like, we've definitely tried to become a more physical team. We already talked about Lisa Baum, how physical she looks. She looks physical. We know Stanway's physical. So I wonder if, like, we're trying to be a bit more robust. I think we have a lot of good footballers, but where we need to compete as well is by being a strong team. And I think we've improved that as well, and maybe this set piece stuff leans into that also.
You know, when we went to see the Champions League semi-final, that was one thing I think that struck out to both of us about Lyon was how big, how physical they are. So I think that's really nice that Arsenal have prioritised that as an area. It's useful when you're enormous. It just is. Like, set piece or no set piece, having physical presence in the box is just really helpful. And although we have, Russo's not massive, but has developed her physicality.
And she's strong.
She's really strong. We don't have a kind of big bruiser, so having a bit more presence at set piece, I think, is good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess we don't still have that, because although we've signed strong players, we've maybe not signed like super tall players. Although if Katie Reid comes back, she's very tall and would definitely give you more of a presence in that sort of sense. But yeah, I mean, Lyon, that is like the N-level boss when it comes to... I couldn't believe... I said this before,
it's so big.
I couldn't believe last season, particularly at Bournemouth, because you see them so close in the group stage when we played them, how massive they were. I thought it was that WNBA game. Like, there was just so many really, really tall people around. It was wild.
One thing I've completely glazed over is how good Olivia Smith's finish was.
Yes.
Completely forgot to
you.
mention that entirely. What a finish.
Yeah, it was so nice. Actually, I mean, similar to the Russo goal that got ruled out, the way it comes back on her right and just absolutely rifles it in. But it was the little sort of feint she did to create the space. I'm super excited for Olivia Smith this season.
Yeah.
I think we've had the bedding in year, and it was a great bedding in year. Like, she was really useful for us. And now I'm hoping we're going to have this sort of cold eye killer sort of.
Yeah, you said useful there, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's not the word you want to be described as, is it?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. She scored some really important goals, but I'm going to go out there. I think this could be
This is the platform to build on.
15, 20 goal season for Olivia
Yeah, I
Smith.
like it.
That'd be really cool.
What a finish. Sorry, completely forgot about that. We were just waxing lyrical about scoring set pieces and forgotten that we'd scored a delicious goal from open play.
Who have we become? Nice to see Misa Rodriguez in goal for the first time. That was another thing as well. Last week, we got a lot of people in our YouTube comments who were sort of adamant that we were never going to see Borba again and that Misa Rodriguez is going to be the goalkeeper until Van Domselaar comes back from injury, and then it'll be an interesting conversation to see who is the goalkeeper, which I think is fair. All I'm going to say to that is Renée Slegers loves Borba, and she started in the Man City game, and from what we read, she had an absolute brilliant game against Man City behind closed doors. So I don't think the goalkeeper is as cut and dry as some Arsenal fans seem to believe.
Renee's keeping us on our toes a little bit on this one.
Yeah, I mean, she does this with goalkeepers, right?
Yeah.
She just throws Borba in when we kind of expect Van Domselaar to be
But she
playing.
throws Borba into the big games.
Yes.
That's the kicker.
Yeah, exactly. Although I wonder if part of that, I'm intrigued to see what happens with the goalkeeper situation. We've touched on it before, but we've got three, I think, really good goalkeepers with loads of experience. Obviously, Borba's the youngest with the league experience, but certainly in Rodriguez and with Dan Domselaar, loads of experience. And I'm super intrigued to see how Slegers managed it, because I said we saw at times last season that she was happy to rotate her goalkeepers. A small part of me wonders if that this long-term injury Van Domselaar's had. So it was agreed back in January that she was going to have surgery over the summer. I think we kind of hope that she'll be back in time for the new season. That was a certain initial suggestion, but it looks like that's potentially not going to happen now. So maybe once it's all settled down again, Slegers won't rotate her goalkeeper.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that's disruptive to the back line, having a constant question mark as to who is going to be behind you in goal?
I mean, the logic would say yes, but I actually don't think it affected us that much last season. I thought we were the best defensive side in the league.
I agree. You just sort of slot in and off you go.
Exactly. I remember Borba had one notable mistake that I can remember, but beyond that, she was solid.
Game? Was that in the cup game, maybe?
Just after I'd said how good she was.
Yeah.
At least you know how these things work. But yeah, I think it was the cup game. It was that awful game at Bournemouth where they had to keep wiping the rain off the lens.
Tough watch, that one.
Yeah, tough watch. An absolute classic of the shite women's football coverage genre. But yeah, so beyond that, she was solid. We obviously know how good Van Domselaar is. We obviously know Misa Rodriguez is a really experienced goalkeeper, loads of caps for Real Madrid. So it's fascinating. It really is fascinating.
Well, we've got one more pre-season friendly to come. That's Wednesday night at home to Charlton. As you mentioned, Renée Slegers is happy with our pre-season preparations. She said, but the actual setup, the plan in pre-season, it's great because the players have had their time off. They really felt that love and hunger for the game again to come back. If you look at a couple of those players that have gone tournament to tournament to tournament, it was such a valuable time for them to have. Yeah, it feels like it's been a long old summer. These players should be fresh. And we've talked about the importance of starting really, really well.
Yeah.
And it's echoed in what Renée Slegers has to say there, which is this is the first summer. Lots of them have had an extended break. The season finished months ago, et cetera, et cetera. So really, as we go into our, I guess, final pre-season friendly, Rory, what do you feel like we need to see from them in that, which we haven't seen yet? It feels like we've kind of built quite nicely. Maybe we've not lit the world on fire with our football, but save that for the actual WSL.
Yeah.
You just want to see hints and you want to see proof that the team are ready to compete and are ready to go from that first whistle, basically.
Yeah, I think this Charlton friendly is really interesting because it's probably of a similar profile to the Paris one. Okay, Paris are a better team and they're a Champions League level team compared to Charlton, but it's another team that are going to step up to try and frustrate, try and, get the defence right, etc. And also the sort of team we need to get good at breaking down. So I wonder if this is another deliberate decision from the Arsenal management team to play this type of team in pre-season. And I would just like to see like an extra ruthlessness. Like, I would like to, obviously, it's funny with things. I would like to see us dispatch them and score loads of goals, obviously.
Please.
But I think in this instance, there's a little bit more weight to it because I think from what I've seen from pre-season, both what I've read about the behind closed doors games and also what we saw was, the thing we were really good at last year, we were really good in the middle of the pitch and in our own defensive third. I can't remember, was it the Everton manager, I think, said Arsenal are the best team in the league between the penalty boxes. They said something like that. I can't quite remember what it was. And you see that a lot. Like, the way Slegers set up the team is brilliant. And there's times I watch the football we play and go, like, this team is like so well drilled and so well set up and they do some really good things. And so many times it just doesn't lead to as many goals as I think the quality we have should create. Not that we can't score goals, but in terms of wanting to be the best team in England and potentially the best team in Europe, which is the aim, that's the thing that I think lets us down. So, okay, yeah, a friendly against Charlton at home is not going to, move the needle in terms of our goal scoring, but it certainly can just set the right expectation for the rest of the season.
Especially for those new signings that we've brought into our attack as well. So Lisa Bound, we've already said, has played really well. She was set up by Churchy, who I think of all the signings that we've made before these pre-season games, she was the one I was most looking forward to seeing. So you kind of want to see her crack on as well and give every indication that come Sunday the 6th, we will be ready. But ultimately as well, it's just a chance for these players to get to know each other on the pitch and feel what that feels like. So if Renée Slegers is happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy too.
Yeah.
I trust her.
We do trust in the Renaissance for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you raised Searchy there because Renée said something really interesting after this game about adding a third striker. I want it to have real depth in that position because it's such an important position on the pitch, which I think is a fair point, but it's interesting. Maybe it kind of goes against some of the conversations we had earlier, or at least my instincts on the situation was that we wouldn't sign Churchy simply as a third striker, and we'd just sign her as someone who could cover other positions across the attack. And it's possible that's maybe true, but there's no signs of that so far. So that kind of leads me to make two conclusions. If she is being signed solely as a striker and not someone who's also going to play out wide, is one, like Russo might play as a 10 fairly regularly this season. Two, we're just really fucking greedy. We will have our cake and we will eat it.
But I mean, I'm laughing, but it's so, we cannot as football fans, even though it happens every single season.
Yeah.
Someone is going to get injured.
Yeah.
And sometimes two people in the same position are going to get injured at the same time.
Yeah.
You cannot over-index on how many players you have.
Yeah.
But, within the rules, obviously. Yeah. But say Russo gets injured, right? And if we hadn't brought in Churchy, then you're going, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Right. So, yes, we are being greedy. And perhaps it's a sign of how big a club we are that we're able to bring in someone of Churchy's quality without guaranteeing her a starting position.
Yeah.
But I think that's proof of how popular the Arsenal project is and the faith they have in contributing to a team that they are arriving at. That says everything to me. So we are being greedy, but we deserve to be greedy because we've earned the right to be.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think you make such a good point. And strength and depth is never going to be a bad thing. And if Slegers can manage that and find a way to keep everyone happy, then great. That's absolutely fine. I mean, particularly if Marnham's going to be out for the first part of the season, it might actually be that we do see Russo playing as a 10 a bit more often. Obviously now with Stanley there, we've got more options in the midfield, so it feels less necessary. But as I said, there's lots of games, different players need rest at different times, etc. I mean, I said we wouldn't talk about it, but one last comment on it. Just let's try and put that same mentality towards the defence. Because, it feels like we might be top loading too much and then leaving.
Renee said she's happy.
Yeah.
Rory.
And we do trust in the Renaissance.
She said she's happy. But no, the point is exactly the same. As you
Yeah.
said, we've got 2 people in each position, especially at the fullbacks. But you are one injury away from an injury crisis. It always is the way, and we just never seem to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
But across our preseason, we've got 1 game left. It all looks like it's going in the right direction. So we should feel positive.
It does. And as I said, we've got the first start of this season is going to be massive.
It is.
Like, we've got such difficult games. But I wonder if that suits us in a way, because the one thing I've always said about this team is we're good against good teams. We saw that last season with the way we beat Man City, the way we beat Chelsea, multiple occasions. You know, when we went to the Champions League and won that, we had to beat a lot of good teams. Like, beating the good teams actually isn't necessarily the problem. The problem is not beating the teams that you should
we
beat.
should beat, yeah.
So maybe actually going into the season and starting in the games that, you know, we can go and show how good we are and get up for might give us the right impetus to then carry it forward.
Yeah, as you said, these are the games that you want to be up for every game. But I agree. I quite like the idea of starting with a really tough challenge, which you cannot hide from. There is no kind of going at it 50%. You have to go hard, otherwise you're going to get beaten. So we have a tough start, but I think everything looks like it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rory, for being with me on this episode of The Thing About Arsenal. You can find us at Thing About Arsenal on Instagram, at About Arsenal Pod on X, or email our show at thingaboutarsenal.com. You can also sign up to the Thing About Arsenal Club via the link in the description. Get in touch with us. You can join us on the Discord there and tell Rory how wrong he is about the goalkeeping situation, because he loves the feedback. And we will see you all next week.
Bye.